to today's Aspire to Be podcast. I'm Catherine, I'm Sales and Marketing Lead here at Aspire to Be, and today we're joined by Mr. Simon Pridham, who's the co-founder and managing director.
Morning, Kath, how are you?
Good morning, very well, thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure.
So Simon, alongside his partner Jeremy, set up Aspire to Be. So do you want to tell us about what your vision was for the business?
Yeah, business partner, let's get that right.
Business partner, so yeah.
Business partner, not partners and partner. Almost a decade old now, so we're just coming up to 9 and a bit years, I think, since the company was formed. The story's quite an interesting one. So when I met Jeremy and how we sort of put our vision together, so I was a head teacher at the time, working in Castellcourt Primary School, just up the road from you in Lacha. We'd gone through an outstanding inspection back in 2010. 7 grade 1s we received one of the leading primary schools in Wales, which was fantastic. And that was before we adopted any mobile technology at all. And for me, that's the key thing really. The foundation of any good school should be good teaching and learning before you adopt the tech. From there, I went to work in local government with Jeremy. I'll come on to that in a sec. And then into national government with Leighton Andrews. So I was working as his professional digital advisor, which was great. And the vision Leighton had was very much what I was trying to do in my own school. So it was through that really that I met Jeremy. The rumour goes, I can't say if it was true or not, that I may have sort of done my own thing as it were in school to get to a certain point with regards to Wi-Fi and creative ways to get devices into schools. You couldn't buy Apple devices in schools at the time. All about boredom I had, but
of course, yeah.
We had about 600 schools come to visit the school to see what we'd done, and it was good. It was really good, and all done really for two reasons. One, to improve teaching and learning even more, and secondly for the children, because they were adopting these devices outside the school and we weren't using them at all in school. We were teaching kids how to use IT, but we weren't allowing them to use technology to personalise their learning. That's two different things.
Right.
So Jeremy was, I'd had some sort of discussions, we say, with the local authority around what we were trying to do. The community totally backed it, the school backed it, the governors backed it. Leighton Andrews was calling in to the school regularly to see what we were doing, speaking about us on national news, and our local authority at the time didn't really get it. So it came to a point where, in somebody else's words, not mine, Jeremy was sent to the school to sort him out. I was the him. So when he knocked the door, that was an interesting conversation, but to be fair, he was brilliant, and he came in and within 10 minutes he just saw it and he got it. He said, "This is outstanding."
Yeah.
I said, "No, I'd be telling people." Brilliant staff, brilliant community, and from there we got to know each other, and then he decided to take the vision of what we were doing in school back into the local authority. We won lots of national council awards, international awards through the authority. We sort of pushed it out across the whole of Swansea. And then it came to a point at the end of that 18-month period where I had to make a decision. Was I going to go back to being head teacher of the school? I felt I'd achieved pretty much all I could there at the time. Was I going to stay in national government? No was the answer. It all moved a bit slow for me, if I'm honest. Leighton was tremendous and others were tremendous, but it was a bit slow. And Jeremy had left the local authority then, so I didn't really fancy staying there or fighting battle after battle. So I think it was at that point then, we had a cup of coffee, Jeremy and I, and he said, "Look, there may be something in, perhaps we can do this as a company." I'd never thought of it. So it took a few months to think about it, and then I thought, we could do this. So my daughter was 6 weeks old, I think, and decided to leave all those well-paid jobs. And with the back of
your wife was happy.
She went white for a while, but yeah. Well, no, that's important to bring that up because she backed me 100%.
Yeah. And
without the backing of that, it wouldn't have happened and it couldn't have been done. The worst that could have happened, I thought, was I'd go back to being head teacher in another school. So yeah, we set Aspire to Be up, and nearly 10 years on, here we are.
Here we are, yeah. So do you ever miss teaching though? Do you miss the sort of education environment?
I miss children.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Get asked that quite a lot. I think the reason you go into education, and certainly the reason you become a teacher, is because you want to improve people's lives. When you stand in front of a class of 30 little faces,
yeah, and
you understand every single one of those is different, and every single one of those have a different path in life, and you would influence in that. It's quite a powerful place to be. And I'm still in touch with a lot of past pupils now, who I've taught, in my career. Some have done brilliantly, some haven't in their eyes done brilliantly, but I think they have in what they've done.
Yeah.
So I miss that, as a head teacher, but the child, at every decision we made as a head, I put the pupils, and I can sincerely say that. And then from that, your staff are going to be on board, and that's my job to do that. But seeing those pupils develop, grow, helping them, some of them got a wonderful home life, so helping them with that as well. That bit I miss hugely. And I've made some great friends and colleagues over the years in education. You miss them. But there's elements of the job, the bureaucracy as a head teacher. You tend, if you're a good teacher, you end up in an office doing that bureaucracy and that red tape. It's flawed. It shouldn't be the way it should be. But kids, yeah, definitely 100%.
Yeah. So you aspire to be then what we do. Obviously, education is still at the heart of a lot of what we do. So, but we have moved on as well to encompass other areas. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about what we do as a whole?
Yeah. How long we got? I think, but firstly, why Aspire to Be? I'm looking at that jersey there. I think the reason we called the company Aspire to Be is because we were both frustrated, Jeremy and I, at the time, that Wales in particular, and people in general, but in education, there was a lack of aspiration at times. You go to England, you walk into a room in central London full of educators, and rightly or wrongly, they're confident, they're bullish, they're quite, abrasive in some respects about what they are, what they're doing. You put a Welsh teacher in that environment, 9 times out of 10 they shrink because they feel that's not what they should do. And the idea was, there's so much good going on in Wales, both in education, business, sport. We should be shouting about it more, help people get there. So that was the idea. Our portfolio now, currently 10 years on, stems from large government contracts, which we continually get reinstated in places like Guernsey. We worked in Jersey. We've worked with Welsh government, obviously, UK government on projects. Right the way down to working in a nursery school, teaching children how to use an iPad. It varies.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's all about the skill set and the individuals we have in the company. So adaptable and so outstanding as to what they do, allows us to have large sporting organisation contracts. Example being Premiership Rugby. We're going to build an app for them, put education programmes in the app. That's available to 27,000 schools in England. Recent contracts with people like CGI, third biggest IT company in the world, helping them impart digital education across Scotland. Guernsey, like I said, just been reignited again. Businesses we work with are sort of, a range of different sectors. I think the ultimate bit for us through it all is we understand people, we understand process, and we can certainly help you with the product, and that's our three sort of things really.
Yeah, absolutely. So has there been any real standout moments for you in the last 9 years?
Is this for the camera now, as if?
Yeah, print friendly.
Print friendly, okay. Yes, it has. I think the one that stands out the most, and we did celebrate well on the back of this one, was if you go back 6 years. Well, there's two. Let me start with the first one. The first one was we had just set the company up. An opportunity came up in neighbouring authority, Neath Talbot, who we'd worked with in our previous roles, closely anyway. And it was the merger of 3 schools, secondary schools coming together.
Yeah.
The former was called then a super school down in Bay Baglan, and 11 primary schools as well that were going to feed that new school. Now obviously you're talking about disparate communities, different communities, a range of teaching abilities, a range of digital teaching abilities. It's a lot in there. At the time it was Jeremy, myself, and just 2 other staff at the time. We won the contract. That was a 3-year piece. We'd like to think we did exactly what we said we'd set out to do, which is make that school digitally competent before the doors opened. They were awarded Microsoft Innovative Educator School status.
Brilliant.
Although we hadn't worked with Microsoft, but the digital skills of those teachers was ready to adopt it. And that won an International Learning Award.
Oh, wow. Actually
beat the Australian Education Service in 2nd place in London.
Oh, wow.
So that was a great one. So that's one. And then from there, our first work in Guernsey was doing digital reviews of every school. There's 19 schools. I can remember it fondly. So I had a presentation to do on the Tuesday morning. And for some reason, it was just me doing the presentation. I can't remember why Jeremy wasn't there. He stayed in the hotel. I think they just asked me to do it as a former head. I remember it was like a room, like a small little room. There was about 12 people on a table. I had a tiny little, what seemed like a portable TV to present on. So presented who we are, what we did, and you are winning it a bit, aren't you? Because you're only like 3 months old. Speaking to governments, presented it all done, and our flight was due to go back the following day, which was the Wednesday. So, and you know what it's like when you're doing that, you look around the room and people are nodding and some people are thinking, and you think, oh, it's going okay, or I'm not sure how it's going. And I said, right, at the end, thank you very much, we'll ring you, if not today, we'll ring you tomorrow if that's okay. So no indication whether it went well or not. Lovely, thank you very much. Back to the hotel. Jeremy's waiting there. How did it go? I said, well, I think it went really well. But I always think this didn't go really well, so I don't know. Yeah. And as I'm saying it, the phone rings. So I thought, oh, this could go two ways now. Can I say that very firm thank? She picked the phone up, and this is the representative, the lady there, we were very close with now, Lucy. And she said, thank you for such a really inspiring. And once they started the positive, you think, oh, you know what's going to be. You got the positive, you got the the punch in the eye in the middle, and then you got the positive at the end, which is, will be the. So she said, it was really good, and tell you enjoyed it, we get it, and we'd like to, if you can call back, we'd like to sign the contract this afternoon.
Brilliant.
And we're like, okay. So we're back to the contract, and I think it was a Tuesday afternoon, and we ended up having quite a few glasses of Laura Perry champagne afternoon, just to relax ourselves into the new contract. So yeah, those two in particular are highlights early on. Recently, I think a highlight for me personally, as Jeremy's now retired, is the restructure. Yeah. Is restructuring the sort of shape of the company really to make it sustainable for the next 10 years, 20 years hopefully. I won't be with them, but whoever it is, obviously it makes it work. Bringing yourself in, Kath, for marketing, bringing Joe in for social media, those things are important. I think the team we got now and the pillars we're working off now are solid pillars, we're focused. And obviously, with contracts you've had recently, the CGI and people like that, I think it stands in good stead really to push on now. Yeah.
So a bit about the team then. Obviously, it's quite a close-knit small team then, and we've got a hell of a lot of experience in it really. So what's your sort of process for choosing who's right for the company?
People are going to fit. Simple as that. I'm a massive believer when I was ahead. Any leadership role I've ever had in life, I think people buy people, and I don't mean buy as in physically pay. People buy into people. Yeah. You can have all the skills in the world, you can have all the letters after your name in the world, unless you can fit into the team, the culture you have in an organisation, a school, a business, and you can promote that, you've had it. So for me, whenever interviewing anybody or whenever trying to get somebody into a role, number one, do they fit? Number two, does that person, are they able to portray what we are as a company? Yeah. And I would hand on heart say I don't think there's nobody in this company who I wouldn't 100% say does both those things. So for me that's critical, because you can teach people skills. Yeah. You can help people develop communication or whatever it is, but what's in there and what's up there, I think is you can't. So that for me is imperative. Got to get it right.
Yeah, and obviously as an employee, we can see that the core values of the brand are everywhere, aren't they? It's all about what we do. That whole ethos is it's all encompassing. Really,
I can honestly say, and I'm not just saying it because we're on camera, but I think it's almost hitting that decade now. I can't think of a time where we've had, from a piece of work we've done, a project, a program, a delivery, I can't think we've had negative feedback. And I sincerely mean that. Perhaps it isn't, somebody hasn't told me, they've kept it quiet, but I obviously can't think of a time where we haven't. And that for me, it starts at the top, it starts at the culture Jeremy and I have set and pushed out. But everyone, and I say the team we got now, I think is tremendous.
Yeah. Have you got any favourites? Apart from me?
Obviously you, Kath, because you interviewed me today, that goes without saying. And Joe, because you're the side of the camera. Yeah. But I think when you look at teams, for me, again, go back to leadership, it's about getting the best out of everybody in that team, so everyone's different today. Go back to the 30 kids in the classroom. The amount of teachers I've met or I know who still think we should be, you teach to the class. You can't teach to a kid. There's 30 individuals there. Yeah. They're all different, and it's the same with leadership, same with teams. So I think it's about, getting the best out of that team, isn't it? And I do think now, what I've tried to do anyway as managing director is empower people at every level of the company.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that. I was as a head again, give everybody responsibility at the level, let them grow into that. And the structure we've got now, it isn't a flat structure anymore. You can develop, you can climb to whatever you want to get in that. We brought in things like performance management again, which we would do in a school.
Mm-hmm.
We brought in a grow model, which Matt Smith's brought in, our learning and development director. So all those things together, I think, stands in good stead for the coming years.
Yeah, you're very politician-like there, where you've completely managed to avoid picking a favourite. Well done.
People have said I could have been a politician, slippery politician, but that's possibly another podcast.
Maybe another time, yeah. So in terms of what's next then, what's on the horizon, what are you excited about, what are we doing now?
Lots. I think, going into the summer break now, because August for us is a quiet month, obviously. We also traditionally people take leave and skeleton staff runs and everything else. But actually sat down yesterday and looked at September onwards. Number one, is exciting to have solid contracts in place now for the next year, the next 18 months. Just renewed our partnership with Premiership Rugby for 2 years. Mm-hmm. 2-year partnership with CGI. We got a contract with Guernsey. We started in earnest now this month, but it'll kick in on Ireland in September. Our PLA contract with Magent College is until next July. All these things are solid foundations, but I think behind that, there's so many exciting projects like the NHS work we're doing, which is really gaining momentum now. The virtual builds we're doing with Andres Pretorius in different sectors, not just healthcare, in business as well. But it goes off those 5 pillars we've identified as we stick to those. We don't go chasing fireflies. We stick to what we do best. Yeah. We develop people internally, and it's probably the most excited I've been. And I still think head teacher-wise, September is the start of our year, if you like. Yeah. Although it's not.
It's hard to get at the mindset, isn't
exactly. It? I can't think of a more exciting time, I think, for the company than September onwards. Yeah,
brilliant. And do we have any plans for our 10-year anniversary? Are we going to celebrate?
We will certainly celebrate. What that is at the moment, I don't know, but I'm sure you'll have some ideas about that, Kath. You want to ride by me? It'll be brilliant. Again, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I was 49 this year, 50 next year. I know I don't look it, so. But I was trying to work out, what's next after Aspire to Be for me as well. If you think, I started work at 22, so the first 10 years as a chunk of my life was spent teaching.
Yeah.
The next 10 years, it was exactly 10 years, the next 10 years was as a deputy head teacher, and those roles I mentioned earlier. That finished. This third 10-year block has been Aspire to Be. So, it's exciting for me as well, thinking, what comes after that for me as well.
Yeah.
I love golf, so I hope to bring my handicap down, but I'm not going anywhere for a while yet.
Good. So we've heard a rumour as well that you've got a really special talent that you're actually internationally famous for.
I have. I was actually, not many people will know this, I looked on the camera on this one. I was Port Talbot whistling champion 1988, 1989 and 1991.
What happened in 1990?
Sharp lips. Legend. I am thinking of entering both the Port Talbot, Welsh and European Championships in the next 2 years.
I think we got it in you. Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much, Simon. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks, Gareth. Brilliant. Thank you very much.